All right, the next exercise we're gonna do is we're gonna do the Turkish get up. A lot of different ways you can do it. You know, I'll demonstrate one each side just so you can kind of take a look at it, then we'll break it down to a little more digestible pieces. So, and this is another exercise that's phenomenal for your shoulder, and it's a total body exercise. A lot of times people, like, if they're not familiar with it, if they've never done it before, they'll be like, hey, what muscle is that working? And I just laugh. I'll be like, you know what, when we're done, you know, tell me what muscle is not working, you know? Here, what we're gonna do, just work the sit-up portion only. So again, good position, open your chest, press. You know, at this point, if you need to adjust, make sure it's correct in your hand, fine. Post that heel close to your hip. This hand is 45 degrees here from your hip, right? We don't want it close and we don't want it up high, we want it about 45 degrees. I want to use this knuckle as like a sight, right? So wherever my arm is in this position, I'm going to use this. Wherever my thumb is in the ceiling, I keep it on that exact same spot the whole time I'm sitting up. So I'm here, drive, right? And you come right up, and try to keep that knuckle in the same position in the ceiling. You're here, right? As you're driving off, boom, here, all of a sudden, that foot flies up and you're like, all right, man, I'm up, right? If you're coming up and that foot flies up, there's like a reason why that's coming up. And you want to keep the foot down, right? And it's really a pretty simple fix. The reason that foot comes up, because it's really just a disconnect in your core. You're not keeping it tight, right? So we could fix it by doing a simple breathing exercise, just matching the breath with the movement, right? Just actively exhaling on the way up, which keeps our abs tight. And it's going to make sitting up a lot easier. You know, keep that foot from flying up, okay? So you don't have to counterbalance yourself. So this is the drill we're going to do. It's just like doing a standing crunch, right? We're just standing right here, you know, feet about hip, shoulder width apart. And we're going to start with our hands here, right? And all we're going to do is as we exhale, right, we're just going to shorten our abs. Just tighten up, tight, tight, tight. Make sure your butt's tight too, pretty helpful. So we're here, right? So hands are here, everybody. Then this all the way till you get to the bottom. When you get to the bottom, right, you should be out of air because we're trying to match the breath with the movement, and you should feel your whole midsection really cramp. When we do the sit-up portion, it's the same thing, right? We're gonna be here, right? Inhale, right? Arm good position, then all the way up, and you should feel a real strong contraction right across your midsection, right? So we're here, using that thumb as a sight or as a guide. Arms here, inhale, then I'm trying to shorten it right from the get-go, right? You should feel if there's like space in the small of your back, your back should totally flatten. So you're here, right, and right up. Great. First thing I want to do is I want to take my shoulder, my right shoulder. A lot of times when people here, if they pause, the shoulder has a natural tendency to get close to the ear because you're kind of relaxed. But you don't want it to keep it there. You want to push it down. When you push it down, now you're engaging a lot, other muscles in your shoulder, which is stronger, it's stable for it. So it also does two things. One, puts your shoulder in a strong position, also loads that heel. Now I drive off this heel, I get my hip up just enough to get that leg through. Boom. And I'm right here, okay? When I put my hand down, common error people make is they want to reach back. What we want to do is put our hand about 45 degrees in front of our knee. So a slight turn, hip goes back. I'm right there. From here, slide back through, back to our back, okay? So this is what we're going to do, right? This hand needs to be 45 degrees off the front of that leg. So this is what we're going to do, right? This little turn, hip goes back. When the hip goes back, his arm goes right there. That's it, right? So then we just reset, little turn, hip goes back. That's it. That's where we want to be. So we're going to do this like 5 times. So I'm manually turning them into position, okay? And people are like, oh man, they always get confused which way to turn. Well, check this out. The thumb will point the way. You know, that thumb goes right towards the instep of the other foot. Well, that's it. So and once he's here, then you slide back through. When you're coming down, right, coming down here, you know how I explain, like if I'm using the crease of this mat in the crease where the mat and the wood meet, right, as my markers, your hand needs to be somewhere in here, okay, when we're coming down. If you reach back, if you pass that 90-degree plane, past your knee, this is, just kind of put it real simple. This is go, this is no go. Go, no go. You know how like most accidents happen, you know, when you're mile 2 from your house? Because people get relaxed, you know what I mean? They're like, I'm almost home, not paying attention, goofing off, whatever, bam, they get in a wreck. Dude, same thing here, you know what I mean? It's like, you just did nice Turkish get up, you went up, you came down, and usually right about here, people think, man, I'm almost home. They start relaxing. And there's usually 2 things that happen. It's like, 1, instead of keeping that elbow straight, they allow it to relax and get a bend in it, which is never good. Then 2, instead of come down slow and controlled, right, they do this. Yeah, that combination of your back slapping and that elbow bend, that kettlebells come screaming from one spot to crush your head, you know what I mean, crush your grip. So as it's coming down, usually I see this all the time. This hand comes up because they start flinching, and then they kind of ditch it at the last second. So again, you can save all that drama just by keeping it elbow locked and being controlled on the way down. This has good job transfer, you know. What I mean by that, again, it depends what you're doing, or sport transfer. Like, I'll give you an example. Getting up a weight. There's a lot of guys, you know, in the South community, you got a lot of weight gear on. You know, you've got your hard plates, you got your armor and stuff on. Sometimes if they get knocked down, sometimes it's hard for them to get up, right? Well, let's just backtrack. Let's just talk 101. You know what I mean? You're in like, just dressed like I am here. You know what I mean? Maybe do jiu-jitsu, maybe do MMA, maybe just on the street, you get knocked down, right? You know, back in the day, like, you get hit, you're like, oh man, that's a pretty good shot. You know, then usually people kind of, you know, usually they kind of get up this way, which isn't really smart, because then you get kicked in the face, you know what I mean? Then it just makes matters worse. And you usually watch guys get up, boom, they get down, you know what I mean? And then they're back up. It's like, wow, that's pretty sweet, you know? So it's like, why didn't I think of that? So anyway, so now, you know, then we just kind of take the next step, boom, you're a law enforcement officer, you get knocked down, great, or you're undercover, or you're just carrying concealed, and somebody needs to be shot, you bring out Mr. Pistol, you know what I mean? And you can still move the same way and still get to your feet.